magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future. Transformers Slag Podcast.
What up, everybody? How we all doing this Saturday night? It's a Transformers Slag Podcast Saturday night live stream main event. Coming live from the hovels of the pit of the Proto-Man pantry. Pathetic. How we all doing? I am tired. Did this all on the last second. We ran a little late starting up today. Had a whole bunch of stuff I was doing today. I was very busy. But we had a very busy week in Transformers and a very busy week in news. So we are going to cover as much as humanly possible. Nice to see all the people that have come in today. Looks like it's going to be a busy one, to say the least. So let's jump into that. There's a lot to cover today. Even stuff that dropped today. There was a lot of stuff. So let's just get into that. And once again, if you want to be a part of the stream today, just super chat your comments or questions and they will be read out loud. Or if you are a green name over there with a awesome Autobot or Decepticon icon YouTube member, ask away also. So let's jump into it, shall we? We got a lot today. It's going to be a busy one, like I always say. So first up, we got some brand new images. Nice, clean, uncovered, not the distributor images, all the nice sweetness of the legacy stuff. Now, where do I begin with this one? So, Wave 3, we're supposed to be seeing a lot of this, I want to say, on the the Transformer Tuesday that's going to be happening on August 16th. That's when we're going to be seeing that officially from the Hasbro side of things. But Takara, the Takara Tomy Mall website, and different Japanese toy distributors kind of beat a lot of that to the punch. And we got to see some brand new images of stuff. The one that I want to talk about specifically is the one that we're looking at here today, which is Blanker, aka Point Blank. And I just want to kind of point out, like, now we got a better look at his Target Master, aka Peacemaker. At least that's what we know him as. We don't know what the trademark is going to be on Peacemaker at the time because, well, right now there's a Peacemaker toy being done by McFarlane Toys on the same aisle of a John Cena nature. So I don't know how that's going to gel. We're going to figure that out when the time comes. But we finally got a better look at it. Nice up close with the Peacemaker Target Master. Looks like there's a few paint decos on there. So they didn't just do the one paint splotch on the face and call it a day and just have two molded pieces of plastic. It looks like they actually made a little bit of an effort there. But otherwise, here's the alt mode. It's pretty lacking in terms of paint otherwise. I've said it before and I said it again. I get a feeling the second tooling or repaint from this is going to be the hotness. And this is just going to be people who want to mess with a new mold. They're going to engage early with it. But otherwise, this is going to be Wave 3 for 2022 in the end of the year. He's going to also be joined by Dead End and a few other cats. It is what it is. If you love it, you love it. If you don't, you don't. But, you know, Hasbro never wastes a mold, so I'm pretty sure we'll see more of this guy in the future, and that is that. Now, speaking of molds and surprise ones with that, let's talk about a Canon Convoy camera, the Triple C. Canon, the camera company, along with Takara, have done a collaboration. And this is a collaboration of Transformers that turn into cameras. And they're using their latest model, the EOS R5 camera from Canon, which normally in retail is easily an almost $4,000 camera with its extension lens and everything. Go check it out on Amazon. I am not joking. It is an expensive camera. But this one we have here is the Convoy camera, the Optimus Prime camera that transforms into the EOS R5. And doesn't look too bad. Again, simplistic transformation. They say in the listing on Amazon that it's actually 80% the size of the actual camera and is not a actual functioning camera. So don't get your hopes up with that one. Doesn't have a functioning LCD screen, doesn't have any functioning flash bulb or anything like that. It is just a transformer that turns into a non-functioning camera. Comes with the Matrix of Leadership, comes with a miniature version of the EOS R5 that Optimus could hold and do some photography battles. The lens cap makes a shield. Hey, if you're into this, you're into this. Planned release date February 25th, 2023, with an estimated price of exchange of $127 about. So if this is your jam, hey, it's your jam. But people were complaining. Why not Reflector? And well, they got you. They got you covered. So they also did a Decepticon version, which is Reflector. I thought it was going to be Megatron, honestly. Thought they were just going to go with the obvious, hey, an Optimus versus a Megatron. Every time they've done these kind of things where Optimus turns into oddball stuff, whether it be pens or shoes or hats or even, I'm trying to think of something else weird that he's done. So many different things, even iPods. There's always sometimes a Megatron equivalency to battle him or a Soundwave. In this case, and rightfully so, just due to his mold history and what he turned into, we got a Reflector that turns into a camera. Now, Reflector turned into an old 60s mica camera from back in the day, and now he turns also into the EOS R5, brand new camera here. He also comes with a camera to carry around, but it is a camera based on his old design. Obviously, it's not 100% like the old mica camera that he turned into from back in the 60s, but it's a facsimile of that. Splits into three pieces to kind of homage his triple combining element that he was with his other members. And he comes oddly, and I only learned about this recently, even though that kind of lore was just kind of sticking around in the back in literally a sentence. The quantum dial is his matrix of leadership in a sense. And the quantum dial, apparently in the Binaltech story, it was a one-line piece of dialogue, was used by Override at some point in Binaltech and was never spoken of ever again. So I'm very curious what this quantum dial is going to be in the lore of things. And is it some kind of powerful device that, the photons, which is what Reflector and his group are in Transformers lore. Like, is there something going on there? Is that what represents who's the leader of the photons? They carry the quantum dial. Who knows? Who knows? Now, here's a weird thing about this one. So Optimus Prime, after exchange and everything, is going to be $127, more or less. Could be 130, could be 125, in that general ballpark. The exchange rate on the Reflector is going to be 146, give or take, maybe 150, maybe 145, but about a good almost $25 more than the Optimus. Why, I don't know. Maybe because people want a Reflector more than an Optimus. Maybe this one costs slightly more to manufacture because of the little camera accessory having the splitting parts. I don't know what is causing it to be more expensive, but it is. And it's also possibly because it's going to be a Takara Tomy mall exclusive. The Optimus is going to be available on Amazon and basic retailers. The Reflector is going to be a Takara Tomy mall exclusive, and maybe that's what's making it slightly more expensive. Because it was a mall exclusive, they made less numbers, and if they make less numbers, sometimes that does make the value more expensive because of manufacturing costs. Possibility. This is just me spitballing here, trying to figure out what's going on with that. But otherwise, both are going to have the same release date, February 25th, 2023. So if you're interested in more camera transformers and you didn't get your fix, like I said before, in individual segments of Spy Shot 6 or FOMO or, SE Cheese or any of those other camera transformers, you got this guy here too to join your crew, and you got more camera transformers. Or check out the Real Gear line from 2007 movie. Pretty sure there's more camera stuff in that. So many repaints, so many retools. There's even camera phones. There's all kinds of stuff. You can make a little photon army in a lot of ways. But it is what it is. Let me know what you think. Again, if this is something like, if it was like $70, $60, you might have my attention. I don't know. Maybe this is a really heavy, beefy, solid figure, but I don't know. At almost, let's put it this way, at almost $150, plus shipping, plus taxes, depending on where you're buying it from. You're talking almost $200 in some cases. Man, go get a masterpiece. You know what I mean? Go get a masterpiece or go get yourself something nice that's a rare figure that you don't have in your collection. Because, I don't know, just not feeling this one. Sorry, Canon, just not feeling it. But something I am feeling, and it's masterpiece related, let's talk about the MP DiaBurnOut. This one's really cool. It looks like the character of Burnout or DiaBurnOut is really getting a lot of love in the past 5 or 6 years or so, and now is up to the masterpiece release. Now, here's another thing too to remind everyone: this is going to be a Takara Tomy Mall exclusive, also, and it's pretty cool the stuff that it comes with, despite that, because it's still the same price more or less as Reboost or Crosscut at $78.99, pretty much more or less the same price. But you get everything because none of the releases thus far, Skids, Crosscut, Reboost, none of them got everything. Some got 2 weapons, some got the other 2 weapons, some got the Moto Campo but didn't get the driver, some got the Moto Campo but did get the driver. So what's going on here with DiaBurnOut? She comes with all the weapons that came with Crosscut, the weapons that came with Reboost, the weapons that came with Skids. She comes with the Moto Campo that came with both Crosscut and Reboost, and she comes with her own unique little Diaclone hologram driver, if you will. It is a retool slash repaint of the Carly female driver that came with Hound, not with Hound, with MP-44 Optimus Prime. The Hound one was the Spike that came with Reboost. So you also get a nice little female driver to continue the legacy history here of Dia. Obviously, the original character was not male and or female, but was a Diaclone driver back in 1982 that came with the Honda City. That was the black repaint of what you would call Skids today. Then, of course, in BotCon 2015, you got Dia again that came with Burnout and Sergeant Hound from the BotCon 2015 souvenir pack. And now we got this one. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Nice little micro history with that character. And I'm curious to see where they go with this and to give more and more. So that's pretty cool to see that. But again, that's pretty awesome. Looks really good though. I really like brand new head sculpt. You know, the whole shebang with a whole bunch of accessories. I mean, this is actually something that's worth the value, in my opinion. Again, we're looking at, that quantum dial reflector at $146. And then you have this amazing masterpiece fembot with Diaclone driver, all these weapons and everything for $78.99. I think it's pretty clear which is the better one of the bunch. Looks pretty good. I like it a lot. Maybe it's just my opinion, but I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Let me know what you think, guys. But of course, that means there's only one member left of the crew to be turned into a masterpiece. From left to right here, we got Crosscut turned into a masterpiece. Skids, of course, was the first, turned into a masterpiece. Now we got DiaBurnOut turned into a masterpiece. And all the way on the right there is Reboost. That was turned into a masterpiece. All that's left is that all alone Honda City Turbo that has the red face as opposed to Reboost's blue face and the yellow deco on the side of the vehicle mode. Maybe because he's so similar to the Reboost, they might not do it. Maybe they will do it, but they'll wait, a couple years in between before they do something to make it happen. But it's still pretty hype otherwise that we're getting so many of this one. Again, I firmly believe, I think it's just more so because Kojin Ono used to own this car. They have a really good relationship with Honda, and they're just making an absolute Honda celebration of the Honda City and its more powerful Honda City Turbo. And wow, I'm impressed, and I'm definitely extremely interested in picking up DiaBurnOut. She looks fantastic, comes with a bunch of stuff. And that little Diaclone driver element, well, you can't go wrong. I think that just looks absolutely great. Let me know what you think. I think that's cool. Speaking of other masterpieces, we also have this weird one, the MP-10R. R probably stands for Revenge, which was the Japanese name for Revenge of the Fallen. We got the MP-10R Starscream. Not much really we could say about this one, except that We know a price for it. It's going to be $169.99. It's going to be coming out also in February of 2023. It's not a Takara Tomy Mall exclusive. It's available across all the different platforms of purchase. And it's just literally the MP-10 with the tribal tattoos on it. No new accessories, no new resculpting, all the same weapons and everything, just the tribal tattoos from Revenge of the Fallen put on there. I think the reason why this exists, in all honesty, and it's much like the same story like I've said in the past with Black Zarek, came out at a time during the Big V. This Starscream came out in August of 2020, right in the middle of when it was the end of the world. And sales were not good for this big expensive item because people didn't know how they were going to feed themselves. And this item was originally in Target for $149.99, and it almost instantly, within 3 weeks, went on clearance, the original paint scheme, for $74.99 at Target, and this was in September of 2020. So I think that a lot of these units didn't move, and they want to make use of that mold and get the budget back that they put into it. So they're doing a quick re-release, but in this case, with a brand new tempo of the Revenge of the Fallen colors. Straight up the toy, give it the new tempo, MPM-10R, and you're off to the races. The current MSRP on this, though, this is unfortunate. In 2020, this thing was $149.99 without the deco on the back. Now it has the Revenge of the Fallen deco, $169.99, a $20 increase within 2 years. Again, we do live in the inflation world. Kind of sucks, but I mean, maybe there's a hardcore movie Starscream fan that really is a completist and is going to want to get this. But up $20 from what it was 2 years ago. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I don't see what's different. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. Maybe I'm blind. But let me know what you think, guys. It is what it is. Now we got some metal stuff here. Let's talk about Jada Toys and Jada Toys with their nano metal figs. Now, what's going on with this, more than anything, because you look at it and you go, okay, it's G1 characters, it's Beast Wars characters. It's just the Wave 2 release with some exclusive add-ons because they're probably going to have singular releases of these two. But what's really going on here with this set more than anything is it's all these trademarks that are going to be, not all of them, but most of them are trademarks related to the Rise of the Beast movie. You have pretty much Optimus, you got Bumblebee, you got Megatron, you got Nemesis Prime, which we have a Scourge in the movie. We got Optimus Primal, we got Wheeljack, we got Battle Trap, we got Rhinox, we got Air Razor, we got Cheetor, we got Mirage. All of those characters, Rise of the Beast movie characters. Of course, outside of that, we got Scorponok, Sound Blaster, Nova Storm, Acid Storm, Spin Out, Red Wing, and Cliff Jumper. Some of these repaints from the Wave 1 mold, some of them brand new sculpts. It's all pretty cool. I dig it. If you're a Beast Wars fan, this is pretty hype. I mean, this is once again, this was product that was planned and licensed by Jada to come out in July and August because what was going to be in July and August? Rise of the Beasts. But that didn't happen. Everything got pushed back. So I feel sorry for a lot of these licensors, but hopefully they'll maybe, keep this product on ice. And then next year, when the Beast Wars takes over the summer vacations, this product will be available and people will be able to get hyped and pick it up and go, dude, I want to get an Air Razor figure. Air Razor was cool in the movie, or Cheetor, or anyone. So I hope that's the case. I hope they'll be able to get it. One thing I do want to take away from this, though, hey, Spin Out, the Diaclone, uh, the Diaclone red repaint of Sunstreaker, given some kind of merchandise outside of just his original masterpiece, his original Diaclone, and of course his Generation Selects 2-pack. So he's also kind of moving up the ladder. And Red Wing too. Even Red Wing gets more merchandise. Isn't that crazy? So, it's nice to see some of the more obscure and weird guys, kind of get more merch and everything, even if it's a little die-cast, unarticulated little statuette figure. But I dig it. I think it's cool. I think it's cool. I don't know how much this is, but they are showing up right now in Walmarts. This one was found in Ontario in Walmart, but there was other reports from in the United States that these are showing up. So if you see it, pick it up, enjoy it. Looks cool. And hopefully it'll be available around the time next year for Rise of the Beast. Otherwise, this might be a hot ticket item when Rise of the Beast comes out if this isn't in allocation and in stores anymore. So Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And speaking of Beast Wars, we also have our first look of our reissues of Beast Wars. We got some more reissues here. We knew about these from listings that we saw online in Walmart's computers, but we finally got some nice stock images here, courtesy of Baidu, the Chinese message board, and Takara Tomi's official segmentation of those Chinese message boards. And we got Canine here, and we got Iguanus. And I mean, these look great. These look great. I mean, let's put it this way. I already own these molds. I don't see a difference with these ones from the originals. And I'll tell you this right now, K9 is easily a top 5 Beast Wars toy any day of the week. So if you haven't picked up Wolfang, pick up K9. They're actually very different in sculpt. They look similar, but they actually have very different sculpts. It's, different kind of face, different kind of body. The shield's different, the tail's different. So they're very unique between each other. They're not just straight up repaints. Even the face sculpt for the mutant mask is different. Some of the sculpting on the body is different. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Very good mold. Has like a little spring-loaded, boomerang kind of weapon. The shield, the mutant head. It's a classic Beast Wars figure from 1997 that, in my opinion, should have been show characters. I think they're really cool. And Iguanus, you know what? Iguanus is not a terrible toy, but the problem that I have here is let's talk about pricing. So when we had Tigatron and Cheetor, we had the $22.99 pricing for this price point, which both of these share, by the way, unfortunately. Iguanus was originally a regular scale, and K9 was a deluxe class. That is not the case anymore. They both share a price point together. So unfortunately, I get a feeling Iguanus is going to be major clearance later on in shelf warming. I remember when Black Friday passed, Rat Trap was a dime a dozen. There was millions of them. And Rat Trap was a show character with a little bit of, cred and everything. And there was tons of him because of how overpriced he was at $22.99 before the MSRP was raised with inflation. Now we have a non-show character in Iguanus that doesn't have that cred, that now has the $24.99 price increase that started with Cybershark. And people are going to be expected to pick this up. I don't know what Iguanus' secondary market value is for the original, but I can't imagine that it's near $30. And if it is, I mean, my goodness, So I think for the longest time, characters like him were selling between $10 and $15 at conventions. So to spend $24.99 plus tax, forget about it. It's going to be crazy. And then in Canada, I think it's $34.99 plus tax. And if you're in a high tax province like a Quebec or something, you're talking almost $40. No, 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 no. Not feeling that, but I mean, at the end of the day, the K9 though is a pretty good mold, so you might dig that one. That might be the cool one to pick up when it's all said and done. But it is what it is, like I say. But we're getting more Beast Wars stuff in the near future. Supposedly, we're supposed to get Tarantulas also. He was on the list of one of them that was supposed to be added. Maybe it was a mistake with the listings, and he was supposed to be, part of that Legacy collection, and that's why we have Legacy Tarantulas. But we're going to see what happens in the future. I hope we get more. I really do. I hope that there's more reissues out there. I have every Beast Wars toy ever made. This isn't for me. This is so that people who haven't engaged with the Beast Wars brand could be able to engage with it and not have to go on eBay and pay shipping or go to a convention and pay entry. They could find some way that they could walk into Walmart and buy, and I use air quotes here, affordably, to be able to buy some classic Beast Wars product and be able to experience it for the first time like I did all those many years ago, almost 25 years ago. Man, I am old. Very old. And speaking of very old and long overdue, our topic of the day, our topic of the evening, our topic probably of the rest of the week when we finally get some better images and more information about him. Let's talk about Transformers Studio Series Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class The Fallen. This is all we got. We got him in a pretzel pose. We got clearly some ball jointed pieces that are supposed to attach to his legs popped out. And we got his face ripped off probably not by Optimus Prime, but a stolen factory worker, to show what is going on over here. And I think he looks really good. I think that they match the color scheme very well with his mask itself or his face. I don't know how you want to call it. The teal blues match his little fins very well. The oranges on the body match that very well. I'm curious what that alt mode is. We never really got to see a very clear alt mode in the movie. So whatever they do attempt to make of an alt mode, I hope that it looks good. I hope that he comes with more accessories. Like, does he come with a staff? Does he come with a matrix of leadership? Like I said in my individual segment, there's a lot of cool stuff. And here, I just want to let's talk about some previous figures throughout the history. So on the top left, released in April of 2009, was the Voyager class Fallen figure. It was the very first Fallen figure we got of this design. Obviously, we got the titanium one back in the day based off of the War Within comic book, but this is the one based off of the movie design back in April of 2009. And if you see what's going on with the face sculpt there, so this one was, when it was originally designed, it was based off of the early design sketches of the Fallen and the original 13 primes. And he kind of had more of a crest going on. He had a very different kind of head sculpt than what the actual figure looked like ultimately in the end. What's really good is if you look on the right there, you have some control art on that robot replica all the way on the right. And you can kind of compare back and forth how different the head sculpt is and the design from the final product. But one thing that was baked in there was he had an alt mode. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess he transforms. There's something going on there. He has a transforming element. He doesn't just teleport where he needs to go. So that was kind of embedded in that character. And then you fast forward a couple months later, and you're in December of 2009, and you have the Legend scale, The Fallen. Now they have time to make toys. Now the toys are more based on the animation model, less than the early sketches and rushing it out. And we had the first ever kind of true transforming Fallen figure that looked like how he did in the movie. Unfortunately, it was a Legend scale, so that best colored Fallen is, fits in the palm of your hand. And then we have the 2009 December on the top right there, the robot replica, which was probably up to that point the best looking Fallen figure we had, which was the robot replicas are not transformable, but they're highly articulated, almost Revoltech-like kind of transformer figures between 5 and 6 inches. And it was a really nice looking Fallen figure. And again, was probably the best thing we had of the Fallen in terms of figural representation and with the color scheme. Because when you then jump to September of 2010, the Hunt for the Decepticons on the bottom right there, the Voyager class, The Fallen, they took that very first one we got in April of 2009, they retooled it, they gave it a brand new head sculpt that was removable, but otherwise everything else was kind of the same. So at least the head sculpt now matched more of the animation model. They gave him a staff, which was something that he had in the movie. So again, kind of throwing back to that. And then having the mask or the face be removable to throw back to the "Gimme your face" scene. That was all great. But then they colored it light blue, baby blue, greens, and purples, and it was like, what? Really? And it was just like, okay, sure. And compounded with the fact that this Fallen figure came out in the exact same wave as Highbrow. And we all know how expensive and tough to get Highbrow was. The Fallen was the same thing, very difficult to find and pick up back in the day. He started to become easier to pick up afterwards with the secondary market. But people kind of waited on this one. A lot of people weren't scrambling to get it, even though it was the superior mold. It wasn't the superior color scheme. And people were like, you know what? It's only a matter of time before this thing gets repainted in the proper colors. We'll get some kind of repaint down the line. Oh, probably in Dark of the Moon, right? No, maybe in Age of Extinction. No, maybe in maybe the Last Night. No. Oh, Japan's doing a Transformers The Best line where they take old molds and then give them the best high-end color schemes to match the animation. Oh, then they're totally going to take this Fallen figure and no. Okay. So oh, oh, I see. So here's what happened. Hasbro lost the trademark to the Fallen. They didn't put out any new product of the Fallen after 2011, and they just let it lapse. And then they stuck with using the Megatronus trademark instead when referring to that character during RID 2015. And they just were like, hey, we're not doing anything Fallen right now. There's no reason to license the trademark. I don't think anyone's going to take it from us. Let's just, roll out and waiting for the right opportunity. And the right opportunity, of course, is today with this. So this is just my assumption. The current MSRP for leader classes right now, like let's say our Dinobots or something with the new ones, like let's say Sludge, are $55.99. So I'm going to assume that he's probably going to be $55.99 for the deluxe class. I hope they put a whole bunch of extra accessories and stuff with that to really pad it out, to really make that deluxe class worth it. Because I get a feeling that he's going to be one of those smaller kind of deluxes. So I hope that he has the staff, the matrix of leadership, and all that cool stuff. But I mean, looks good. Looks good. I like what I see a lot. I think he looks really cool. And again, when you look at what the history was and what was available at the time, this is a nice benchmark to the next step. This is going to look really cool in our displays. And, and by the way, guys, I mean, I'm only showing 4 here. The Fallen had, like, no joke, like a dozen and a half, figures between 2009 and 2011. So, I mean, these were the best ones, but there was a lot of duds. There was a lot of ones that you could have skipped, Burning Fallen and so many other wacky ones. So, and that's just based off of this design, let alone all the other stuff from all the other continuities and everything and shows. So, it is what it is. Let me know what you think. I'm excited about it. I think he's long overdue, and you know, I like his face. He looks like he's in pain there. Let's just fix that a little bit. Let's just He is not happy. He is in major pain. He has seen some stuff. Oh man, he has seen some stuff. But yeah, let me know what you think, guys. It is what it is. We got a brand new Fallen figure. And last but not least, what we're going to talk about is our sponsors, our lovely sponsors that we have. Of course, Symbiote Studios. Today I'm rocking the Soundwave and I'm rocking the Catnip Bravo pin. And we got the whole crew of Plush in the back just chilling. People that are wondering, Grimlock is going to be restocked soon in the Symbiote Studios website, so don't worry about that. I know he's been selling out like crazy. Everyone loves that Grimlock. I remember when I went to TFCon, I saw 3 different people with Grimlock. One person had Bumblebee. They're doing very well. They're doing very well. But again, Symbiote Studios, plush pins and t-shirts, official by Hasbro, by Symbiote Studios, licensed, ready to go. Get yourself a giant Unicron. Get yourself all the goodness. It's always yummy. And of course, all the new additions due to Wave 5 in the second half of this year. Get yourself the brand new Soundwave, the Catnip Bravo, the Wheeljack, the Hound, the trio of Seekers in their brand new looks. And of course, my favorite. I love him. Shockwave, looking good. He's chilling all the way back there. It's funny because Unicron technically in continuity killed Shockwave. Just that scene wasn't in the movie, but it was in the script and in the comics. And then we got Wave 5 coming. Wave 5 is going to be next year. All I could say, it's movie related. So you could take from that what you will. We got 2 that are in the making, being figured out right now within the headquarters of Symbiote and Hasbro, crunching the numbers, doing their thing. And they'll be coming soon. They will be coming soon. So get ready. Get ready to get Kranix and that guy that was like beat up in the back of the cell on the planet of Junk. Not Junk, Quintessa. Like we're gonna do the super obscure stuff that'll totally not sell. How about it? Is that what you guys want? That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. But again, also, if you like other Hasbro brands, got GI Joe, got Power Rangers, we got My Little Pony, we got Magic the Gathering. Love me my Magic the Gathering. Good stuff there. Good stuff. And of course, these just debuted. Just debuted. We have the Dragon Zord that's going to be happening with the GI Joe pins. A lot of good stuff. Be sure again to check it out. Link is in the description. Link is in the comments. Links is everywhere. SymbioteStudios.com. they support the podcast. I only want to have sponsors that make sense for this podcast. That's the one thing you'd be surprised how many sponsors I tell them, look, it just doesn't make sense. I'm not going to try to sell my patrons on, workout wear or jewelry or bootleg stuff. I want it to make sense. I want it to make sense more than anything. And they're always great, these guys. They're super awesome. And hey, their shirts are really cool. Anyone who was at TFCon weekend, I was rocking their shirts every day because they're comfy and they're beautiful. And speaking of someone who's also beautiful, let's talk about Aaron Archer and the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. If you haven't checked it out already, we have our Transformers Alternators episode that is up. Again, big long form content with a lot of visuals and behind the scenes stuff. We are going to start doing more episodes soon. Aaron's currently right now on the convention scene, so it's hard to really schedule stuff with him. He just did a convention not too long ago. I believe it was PowerCon. And yeah, looking good, Aaron. Looking good with your panelists. So again, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. If you haven't checked it out, be sure to check it out. Just type the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer in your Google machine or your YouTube machine search engine. He'll pop up. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and listen to the good stuff. If you want to hear my stupid voice for another 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours talking about Transformers and other Hasbro brands, other stuff too. Do you want to hear me talk about Jurassic Park or Batman or other brands like, I don't know, Aliens, Predator, all kinds of cool stuff? Aaron worked on Metabots. One day we're going to do a Metabots episode, okay? Keep that in mind. One day we're doing Metabots, and I can't wait because Metabee is awesome. That's more or less it for the news. We got some super chats we're going to get into in a moment. Thank you for all the super chats who've been putting them in. We're going to get into those. Before we do that, I just want to say, didn't get anything this week. Nothing came in the mail at all. Nothing came in the mail. I'm expecting stuff in the mail, but nothing came in the mail. Apparently, and this isn't related to me per se, but apparently a lot of people are having problems with Walmart. This is United States people. I'm Canadian, so, but Walmart apparently has been not honoring orders on some of the Velocitron stuff, include not just Cosmos, but other characters too. And people have not been happy about that. So it's getting kind of dicey right now. I don't know what to really say about that, but I really wish people luck when it's going to come to getting Cosmos, because I get a feeling he's going to be ahead. I just want Nitro Convoy Override. That's the one I'm gunning for. I'm going to walk into a Walmart and I'm going to see Cosmos and I'm just going to take that Nitro Convoy Override and be happy with that. Get my boy or girl, depending on if you're watching a terrible dub, but get my boy. And then we're going to have an amazing photo shoot. I can't wait. I'm going to have like every version of that character throughout the years. It's going to be so good. So let's jump into the super chats. Aiden Tolbert with the $2 super chat. Gimme his face, of course, because that's what's going to be happening. I'm telling you, like, that's going to be like the first thing people are going to take photos of. They're going to have that messed up face over there with a Studio Series Optimus standing over it, going crazy. I swear, you know what? I remember when movie Optimus, when he killed Sentinel Prime in Dark of the Moon, I remember sitting in the theaters and going like, I think he's lost his mind. And I literally thought Prime was gonna like kill himself afterwards. Like he took the shotgun, he brutally killed Sentinel Prime. And then like the camera is like if this is Optimus, the camera's like duh, 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 duh. And I thought Optimus was gonna go like and then shoot himself. Like it was nuts. And like I swear, movie Optimus, after what he did to the Fallen, like we all started going like, ooh, this guy's a little crazy, a little nutty, this Optimus. And maybe that's why the Japanese didn't want to call him Convoy. They stuck with Optimus Prime because he just didn't have the sensibility that the true, supreme commanders of the convoys would have been. But yeah, thank you for the super chat, Alden Tolbert. And then we got another super chat from Edgar Mayoral. And he said, last week you were talking about Super Sentai. Which is your favorite Mecha Zord? So in the Power Ranger-y side of things, I love Pyramidas. I think Pyramidas is awesome. And even though I'm not a big Green Ranger fan, I cannot not like Dragon Zord. I just, or Dragon Caesar, whatever you want to call him in the Japanese version. I'm a big Mecha Godzilla guy, and Dragon Zord just speaks Mecha Godzilla to me. So I love that. But I love Pyramidas. Who like all the Turbo Megazords are really cool and all the Turbo related stuff. But and on the Sentai side of things, their Sentai equivalencies, like Deca Robo, from Deca Ranger, the SPD Robo from SPD Power Rangers, I think it was called. I mean, with all the lights and everything, the Judgment Gun, super cool stuff. Love it, love it, love it. Those are some of my faves. Some of my faves. I have a Sentai Power Ranger display with all my other Toku stuff, with my Ultraman and stuff. If, in all honesty, guys, if I had to like tier it, like Ultraman is number one with me. Sentai is a very close second place. And then Kamen Rider and Godzilla is kind of third. But I still love Kamen Rider. I have Kamen Rider figures. I really like Kamen Rider, but like Ultraman will always be like childhood. Childhood for me. I'm missing some of the green chats. Mike Rosen says here that Dragonzord plushie looks like Grimlock costume. Yeah, it's true. Grimlock with armor. Mike Rosen says I picked up the Road Hauler and the Red Cog. Oh, I want Red Cog too. Jason's gonna try to hook me up with a Red Cog. That'd be really cool. No targets here in Canada. Michael Kuz says keep your Velocitron pre-orders. Yeah, well, let's hope, Mike. I hope that we could get them. I really do. I really, really do. Eyes on Ace. It's all about Rakusho. Rakusho is awesome in Metabots too. I have a little Metabots collection. Guys, you should see the rest of my house. This doesn't matter. This is just the craziness of Transformers in my life. You should see the other rooms. It's just one day, guys, one day we're gonna have fun. One day we're gonna have fun and we're gonna venture around to some of the other rooms and do the streams there. What do we got here? War Criminal Vibes. I don't know what that's about. Gold super chat from Paul M. And Paul M wants to know, I overheard a kid say to his dad while looking at Transformers in the toy aisle, I love Transformers more than meets the eye. The dad seems indifferent. Good news about the kid. Well, it depends about how old the dad is and how old the kid is. I mean, if the father is, in his 40s, he grew up with Transformers, but if he's in his 50s or his 60s, he might be a 70s kid. He might care more about, Star Wars or, before the Kenner boom of action figures. He might only care about G.I. Joe and Kung Fu Grip. So it really has to be with how old the kid is and how old the dad is. If the dad's indifferent and he's in my demo, then maybe he was the weird kid. Maybe he was the weird kid. Because how do you not love Transformers? What's wrong with you, bro? It's a toy, it's a car, it's a puzzle, it's 3 toys in one. How could you not love it? How could you not love it? Unless you're one of those guys, who's always like, I could never figure out these things. It's like, really, bro? Your 5-year-old can figure it out. What does that say about you? But yeah, that's good news for the kid at least. Hopefully we'll hold on to him longer and hopefully the dreaded cell phone world. I got a message here. Well, I do. I'll ignore that right for now. Hopefully the dreaded cell phone world and tablet world won't get him too soon and we won't lose him to Fruit Ninja or Among Us or whatever the latest hotness is. I don't know. Princeton Phalanx 59, can we start all over? Are we talking about pre-orders? Are we talking what are we starting all over, Princeton? I missed some of the convo. We also have a new Minicon member that joined the YouTube membership. We got the Transformer Guy 84 has joined under the Minicon recruits. Thank you, Transformer Guy 85. Excuse me. 85 was actually the peak year of Transformers, so it was the best year for G1. Michael Kuthan says, I really like Kamen Rider figure rise kits. Those look really good, but I just don't have space for those. Mike Rosen goes on to say the pink tube is supposed to be the Energon container. Oh, we're talking about Red Cog. Yeah, that was the containers and stuff that RC was bringing to Sound Blaster. I have a slide somewhere in one of the past segments. I think it was one of the live streams we did when Red Cog was first announced. I did a slide where I showed all the different items, like what each piece was and where it came from. And then it was double confirmed, some of it by Mark Mayer from Hasbro. So, like, there's a lot of cool stuff. That red cog, I know he's a little more expensive than your average deluxe because he comes with the extra stuff, but that's going to be something I'm telling you, like years from now, people are going to still want it because of the accessories and all the cool little things that come with it. It's kind of like the Centaurion drone there we got there, like how he's like still to this day people still want him because he has all those accessories and everything, and he's been around for what, 2 years now, 3 years. So there's certain figures that they're always going to kind of hold their value because of their uniqueness of what they come with. Princeton Phalanx 59 says, just found Cosmos and Clampdown yesterday. What up? That is awesome. It took me several days checking my local Walmarts. I think I spent more on gas. Yeah, that's always the story. I spent more on gas than you would have buying them on eBay. Well, it's hard to say. Sometimes people get lucky. Sometimes you go in and, there's a whole case right there. I always say, if you have a Walmart close to you and it's not something that's out of the way, it's always worth it to check all the time. If it's out of the way, then yeah, sometimes it might not be worth the case. Gas isn't cheap right now. Michael Cool with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Michael, for the super chat. Do you think that one of the MPG train bots will be retooled into Transformers Go Optimus Prime EX Prime? I think, yeah, I think at some point, because they got to do here's the thing, they got to do something with those molds. They like Kojin Ono already said they want to do individual releases of some of those second wave uh, Diaclone colors. Like Dr. Yellow is one that probably is a given at this point. We're probably for sure going to get Dr. Yellow, the Fembot train. But I'm pretty sure at some point they're going to look at those and go, look, we got to do something with these. We put all this time into Shuki, we put all this time into Getsui and Kaizen and all of them. We got to do something with them. So at some point, they're probably going to take a mold and they're going to make it either a new character based it off of the Diaclone second color schemes, the Wave 2 color schemes, or maybe the Optimus. Maybe we'll get the Optimus. That'd be pretty cool too. Or even alternatively, I mean, if you look at Shike Leon, there's some designs too in there that could maybe have some crossover. Or there was an Evangelion one and everything too. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. Look, there was an Evangelion colored masterpiece figure, Optimus Prime. Why not a Raiden Evangelion colored masterpiece that is from Shike Leon? Like they could go down the deep rabbit hole if the money's there, if it sells well. I don't know. I don't know how well that Optimus sold. That's a better question probably to ask, is did the Optimus even sell well? The Ava one. That little spike that they colored it like Shinji, but it looked like a character from Attack on Titan. It was very weird. Cringe McCringle with the $5 super chat. Hey, Proto. With the announcement of Peter Cullen at TFCon this year, do you think Frank Welker will show up as well? That's asking a lot. Peter Cullen and Frank both have very expensive appearance fees. To get the double dose of both of them would be ridiculously expensive, and it would probably fall on the attendees in terms of how to pay for that. So I'm going to say no. Frank's actually at another Transformer convention this year, so I mean, if you could do both, go to both. I mean, if you could do one, I don't know. BotCon's really expensive this year. I would not suggest BotCon this year. I think BotCon, when they figure out pricing and everything a little better, then we'll be in a happier world. Because I mean, I love BotCon. Don't get me wrong, and the people who work on it, some of those people I consider very close friends, but a little expensive this time. That's just my take. A little expensive, little pricey. That hotel room, man, is brutal. Mike Rosen with the 9 months member question. If they retool Rolled Hauler into Hook, I'd buy it. I don't think they're going to retool it into a Constructicon. The last mold, because when you look at historically what this character and Inferno and all of them and the related mold brothers, what they've been turned into, you have like Hotspot that kind of falls into that category. Like you could have the Inferno mold and do a blue repaint and call it Hotspot. The one that I'm surprised they still haven't done yet, look it up if you want, Super Rodimus. So they took the Inferno mold and they retooled it in a way. Obviously, they used a Brave toy later on, and it was, what's his name there, Duke Fire from Jay Decker, and there was a whole bunch of stories of the design with that. But you take the Inferno mold, you give it the Rodimus head, some different tooling. The Inferno wings are now hot rod wings. Um, Look up Super Rodimus. It was an obscure Transformers Battlestar figure that was supposed to combine with Star Convoy, and it just never happened, and it only was in the design stage. I'm not going to reach for the book right now. I could show you on the book, but not in the mood to reach for it right now. No reach around, not today. But I could see like those two, like those, like especially like the colors of the rainbow. Look, we got our greenish yellow now. We got our orange. We got our our red. So we need blue. We need blue. Where's our hot spot? Got to keep that trademark alive. So you'll have a hot spot. So that way you could throw that out there because we're probably not going to be getting a Defensor anytime soon. So you got to do hot spots somewhere. And that's one way I could see it being done. That's one way I could see it being done. It is hot today. Whew, it is very hot today. It is hot today in Canada. Look up that one. Really cool design. And it's not just because I love Hot Rod. I just think, that's a figure that's never been done of all the cool stuff. Tom Laney says, yeah, I was thinking about going to Chicago as well. Not sure yet. Well, I'll just say this right now. If people ask, I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not crossing the border with all the craziness that's going on again. Oh no, now we got Optimus Primal spots and wave number 5 and all this stuff. And for me to cross over, look, my buddies who went to San Diego Comic-Con, they all caught the big V. All of them. All of them. And I was just like, oh God. Thank goodness I didn't go because I would have went. I would have caught it because I would have been hanging out with them, and then I would have went across the border. I would have got flagged. Then they would have had to put me in a hotel room for 2 weeks that I would have had to pay for out of my pocket with the Canadian guards standing outside the door. Then I'd lose 2 weeks of work. I'd lose 2 weeks of being able to record the podcast. It would be a disaster. Why don't we just end this crazy world already so I could be able to travel again? It's nuts. I miss hanging out with you guys. Like, I would be at Chicago. I would be at all of these, but it's just I can't roll the dice. I just can't. I just can't. T Formers 2002 with the $5 super chat. Did you see the Walmart listing for Wreckers, Wave 2, Jackpot, and Nebulon? Glad to know there are more Wreckers here hanging tops. So I saw this online, and it wasn't Jackpot. It was, I think you're referring to Stepper. You're referring to. Someone showed me a listing for a Wreckers. They called it round. It was called Wreckers Round 2, Stepper and Nebulon. And I was like, okay, I could see that happening. It makes sense. But could you show me evidence of this post? Because it was just an image, right? No evidence. Not on it. Was supposed to be an Amazon post. There's no evidence. And I could access the Amazon listings and I couldn't find anything. So I don't know if it was people just messing with people. I don't know if it was a listing that was put up and then it was pulled down by Amazon because it was too soon. I mean, look, I could see it happening and I can't wait for when it does happen because then I'd love to talk about Stepper again and his whole history. I mean, let's just reach over for this guy. I mean, literally like kind of one of the last Stepper figures we got was Power of the Primes, so it'd be really cool to talk about Stepper again and his whole history. I think you could barely see his G1 and it's behind the pillar, but I'd really like for that, and it'd be cool too. See, the first thing that sent me a red flag was they called it Stepper. Stepper historically in the West they use the name Ricochet. That's kind of the name that they always use with Stepper is always Ricochet. So the first thing I was like, huh, they called it Stepper instead of Ricochet. That's interesting. The second thing, calling it Nebulon. Nebulon was a trademark name that was used again with the Japanese side of things. Every time Stepper had his little pilot, it was always, oh, hey, Nightstick, Nightstick, Nightstick. So, but then that gets mixed up with Nightstick from Target Master, Cyclonus. So there's a lot of weird things. I was like, really? This is a legit listing? Show me. And no one was able to show me. Just images. So I will report it when it's legitimate. I don't like to really report stuff that's hearsay unless there really is some kind of grounds to it. I think the only time I ever like really report stuff that might be hearsay is when it's like a listing, but it's a listing from a credible source. And all the sources that I got from, unfortunately, were not credible. So, it's one thing to do a listing and go, hey, we're gonna dog ear this page here, and we're gonna go, all right, let's see if this is legit or not. And if it's not legit, then that source is not credible anymore. And those sources were always credible. So they kind of get that's good. Get the thumbs up for me to know in the future to listen to them. But this one, I don't know where it's coming from. It look, it makes sense. It makes sense. Hey, like if you look at like you just mentioned Jackpot before, Jackpot Deluxe Class, take Studio Series 86 Jazz, which was Jackpot to begin with, give him a Battle Master, which Jackpot already had. It's practically the same toy, the same packaging, everything like that. Just now it's a black repaint that isn't Jackpot, from the Jazz Studio Series 86. And then you give him a different Target Master. You give him the blowpipe Target Master, and that's it. And then you're off to the races, you know. So I mean, I think it was a fraud listing personally. I think it was just people. There's a lot of that. We've talked about this on the past in the stream. I usually don't make segments about them, but in the stream I'll bring them up. Like, remember the fake images of the red Mirage that popped up? We talked about that. There was the fake images of the Grimlock. The Grimlock wasn't legitimate, and then we got the legitimate images afterwards. There's a lot of times you have people, they really go out of their way to just kind of mess around, and I don't know why. Like, what's the point of doing that? I mean, like, just keep the news legit. What's the point of making fake news and stuff? I mean, it doesn't help the individual who's making the fake news, and it doesn't help the individuals of believing it or not believing it. It doesn't help Hasbro. It doesn't help other companies. It doesn't really help anybody. So I don't see the benefit in people making that kind of stuff. Collector Prime wants to know with the super chat for $5. Thank you, Collector Prime. Hey, Proto, another great night for Transformers. Indeed, it is. You mentioned we'll probably won't see Defensor anytime soon. Why do you think that we have Menasor? Well, because I think that if they are going to be doing more combiners, we're probably going to be getting one combiner a year. And I firmly believe in my heart, like, if you ask me which would you rather have, aerial bots or the protective bots, Defensor, I rather have him. I like him a lot more. He was my first combiner team I ever owned as a kid. But I just have a feeling they're going to do the aerial bots first. I just have a feeling Superion is going to happen. And I'll tell you why. Because I could see them doing Superion, getting that out of their system, getting all those trademarks, Air Raid and Fireflight and Slingshot and Silverbolt, get them all out of their system, get that all done. They're going to do that. I mean, it's the same reason why they did, they did the Silverbolt Magnaboss member, but they called it Skywarp instead of calling it Silverbolt, because they're going to do Silverbolt. Silverbolt's going to be the G1 figure. It's going to be the next combiner. Maybe not the next year, but the year after. And then when they want to do all of the other members of Defensor, because they have to do those trademarks also, there's a lot of other toys that you could easily do that. When it comes to like doing jets, which is really, and planes, which is really what Superion and the crew is, it's kind of boring to make individual releases that don't combine. But it's very easy to take a police car and then make it streetwise and be in a standalone streetwise. It's very easy to take an ambulance and make it, make it first aid, and it's a lot easier with those guys. The motorcycles, look how many motorcycle molds we have right now between the Voyager, the Deluxe, and even a core class. All three price points have motorcycles in them. So all three price points have motorcycles. You could stick a groove anywhere. Groove could go anywhere. He grooves right in, you know. And then helicopter blades, easy stuff. So it'll fit somewhere. So that's why I kind of see how aerial bots will probably be the next one. Defensor. I think Constructicons aren't going to come for a bit because we just got the Studio Series movie Constructicon, so that kind of covered the bases there. And of course, the trademarks also were used again during the reissue of the Constructicons from Walmart. So that also kind of covered those bases. Uh, Predaking, we got the Power of the Primes one. I'm pretty sure we're going to see Rampage elsewhere, Razor Claw elsewhere, Dive Bomb elsewhere. They'll put it on a mini con. They'll put it on something. 2023 supposedly is going to be a Armada year. That means mini cons. That means a lot of small, cheap price points that you could throw a whole bunch of trademarks on that are in dire jeopardy of one thing or another. Oh, hey, Ironhide is going to be expiring. Oh no, well, we're not Ironhide because he has a toy coming, but we got to throw it on something. You have to put it on a mini con. So that's the way I kind of see it. That's the way I wrap my mind a lot around it, just based on experience and seeing what has happened in the past. Michael Koo with the $5 super chat, not asking for spoilers for Transformers: The Last Spot Standing. Do you like how the story is turning out? I love it amazingly. I can't wait for when they do the trade paperbacks and we have the Virgin covers, because the covers are absolutely incredible. All the people that are doing the covers are knocking it out of the park. I want posters of those. But then again, I'm a little biased because it kind of features this guy here. So, I keep this guy close. So it's also, that's another reason too. You know, all of these end of Transformer series kind of books that feature Hot Rod in them, whether it be Regeneration, The Lost Light, or now this one here with The Last Bot Standing. They're all very Hot Rod kind of books. So you kind of already get my attention in a lot of ways with that. So yeah, I dig it. I dig it. Let's see. Where are we at? Where are we at? David Cabal, what's up, pro? What's up, David Cabal? Nice to see you coming into the chat and rocking out with us today. I think I saw Larry too jump in, and Aaron Archer. It's hard to see. Everyone's just everything just kind of pops up and everything. But it's just like what's going to be happening next year in terms of a commander class. I mean, there's a lot of rumors. There's a lot of rumors where the rumor is we're going to be getting 2 commander classes a year. And the thing that some people I think are failing to realize is we might get 2 commander classes a year, but what I think might happen is we are going to get 2 commander classes a year, but it's going to be one for our legacy classics generations kind of line, and then one for what is going to be studio series. I think that that's what's going to happen if we do get 2 commanders. They'll just be in 2 different lines rather than getting 2 commanders in legacy or 2 commanders in whatever our next generation's line is. As for the next Titan, we'll see. A lot of stuff on the plate, so to speak, of what could be done with Titan classes. Tom Laney, looking at my Studio Series RC. I assume which one, the Bumblebee one or the Studio Series 86? Legacy figures and Studio Series figures seem smaller. They do not have the same budget, but Cyclonus ended up in Kingdom, as opposed to Scourge being a Studio Series 86. Well, the thing is that the Studio Series 86 stuff, when it was first being kind of planned, was supposed to be Kingdom product. The belief, I believe, that I was reading online is originally Kingdom was supposed to be 86 movie versus uh, modern Transformers of that era of Siege and Earthrise. And then that kind of got changed to Beast Wars afterwards. And some of those ideas and characters uh, Cyclonus, like Hot Rod, and some of the others, they just found their way into other places. Obviously Cyclonus stayed in Kingdom, but then stuff like Scourge and Hot Rod found their way into that of the Studio Series 86, and happily so, because it ended up giving us the best Hot Rod toy ever made. So, but yeah, we're looking at your okay, it's the Bumblebee RC. Well, the Bumblebee RC it's a good mold. It's a good mold. It's just, like I firmly believe that Studio Series is just a cut above a little bit in terms of the budget and stuff, but also because it goes to a different market too. Studio Series is ridiculously popular in the Asian market. That's why we have like that whole like premium line there. That's all those Studio Series molds and everything. They really like Studio Series and everything that's doing. So, I mean, and again, My favorite now, my favorite Transformer toy of all time now is a Studio Series 86 Transformer. Not a masterpiece, not a Beast Wars toy, not something from, Galaxy Force or Classics or Generations. It's a Studio Series 86 figure. So, looks good. Uh, oh, that you say that they're small. Well, you know, size really has to do just with budget. It's the size of a figure isn't really determined by like, like the price point or the line. It's just, hey, we're doing XYZ figure, and in order to achieve a certain height, budget, price point, or whatever, we gotta have it, work a certain way. And that's why you have stuff like Studio Series movie 2007 Jazz, very tiny, and he's in a deluxe class price point because they wanted to keep the budget to a certain limit and everything. And then you got other stuff like, Perceptor that or Hot Rod that are also deluxes, but they're in more of a Voyager price point. So it's confusing, but that's kind of what they do. Tom Laney, get rid of the background and more plastic. Oh, you're talking about the cardboard. You know what? Cardboard really doesn't cost Hasbro that much. It really doesn't. Um, Cardboard. So, like, let's put it this way. So, Hasbro's number one brand is not Transformers. It's Magic the Gathering, and Magic the Gathering is only cardboard. Only cardboard. They like think something that they give away that we throw out, which is Transformer packaging, is something that they sell as a collectible, keepable product in Magic the Gathering. And they literally sell cardboard for premium, and it just prints money for them. They make tons of money from Magic the Gathering. The cost versus profit margin with cardboard with Magic the Gathering is through the roof, where Transformers is expensive. It's all this plastic and pins and paint and manufacturing costs. You got to pay someone in the factory to put these things together, where a cardboard sheet of cards just the machine just cuts it and puts the packs randomized. Like it's a different animal, completely different animal. And I think that removing the background is going to change nothing. Removing the window, according to them, changed something because that was plastic. That removing that was a big deal, but otherwise, no. It's not going to change much. The only thing that's changed more than anything, it's going to probably increase theft and returns, and it's going to create more headaches for us. That's the only thing with the removal of the plastic in a lot of ways. Uh, Mike Rosen with the question, the green YouTube member question. If they do a commander class for Studio Series, who is the character it would be? Well, I was thinking one of the first ones that they'll probably do is Stratosphere. Remember at the beginning of Revenge of the Fallen, Optimus was in this plane, and then the plane dropped him out, and then he, did his thing when he was attacking Rampage at the beginning of Revenge of the Fallen. So that plane was turned into a Transformer in the Revenge of the Fallen toy line called Stratosphere. Fantastic figure, by the way, and he's actually one of the largest figures of all the movie toys of that era. He stands above so many of them, and he comes with a little mini Optimus that you could put in the compartment too. I could see them doing Stratosphere because they said they want to kind of go outside movie appearance characters. Now they want to go to the more obscure stuff, and Stratosphere is a given. He'd be really cool. You do a commander class Stratosphere, and he comes with, because think about it. Now we have core class that's of the small characters. We're getting core classes of all the little guys. Stratosphere commander class comes with a core class Optimus Prime that could go inside the cargo bay. Sign me up, mother. I would love it. I would love it. I love Stratosphere. He's a little fragile though. So if you buy the original, supposedly he has some GPS issues. I don't want to test that theory. I'm going to leave him in robot mode forever. But he looks beautiful. Love him. Oh, he looks so good. But yeah, I'm thinking Stratosphere. That'd be a given. That's the first one. Michael Koo with the $5 super chat. With Rise of the Beast in 2023, will the next HasLab be a beastie? No, I don't think so. Like when you really think about it, right? Like, what would a HasLab Beast Wars item be? Outside of it, like them going, hey, we're doing Beast Wars Neo Unicron, which sign me up if they do that. But outside of doing a Beast Wars Neo Unicron, I can't think of a Beast Wars thing. Like, what are they gonna do? A transforming Axelon or Darkseid, like their ships? Like, I don't know. What's big enough that could justify that? Are we gonna get like a Commander class scaled kind of Rampage and Depth Charge? Do they want to do that and do a 2-pack of that, much like we got like Victory, Saber with Star Saber and Victory Leo? Like, when we think Commander class, does Commander class as a standalone thing justify HasLab, or is Commander class good enough just to be retail? That's still the gripe that I have, is that I still feel like we could have had something like Star Saber and Victory Leo in retail. I think that, to me, HasLab should be crazy bombastic items that no retailer would want to carry because of how big it is. When I look at that his tank that's going on with GI Joe right now, that thing's going to be in a box that's going to be like the size of a microwave, you know? And no retailer today, Target, Walmart, or even the Toys R Us's still that are left in Canada and stuff, would want to carry a toy that's huge like that. The shelf space just doesn't make sense. And even Aaron Archer said most toy companies, they plan the size and shape of their boxes based on Walmart dimensions. So if it doesn't fit, they're not going to, they're not going to involve it. So to me, if you could do something that's a commander class, just make it retail, man. What are you doing? Like HasLab should be the crazy stuff, the stuff that you don't think it could be done because of how big it is. To me, just do Primus. Do Planet Cybertron. Do like a big Planet Cybertron that transforms, that comes with a bunch of minifigs and bells and whistles, with a Vector Sigma and a Kita Vector Sigma that's die cast, and then include that one of the stretch goals is a an Alpha Trion figure or something. Like, just do some crazy, or the moon bases, and maybe the moon bases transform too. Because they were infused with the power of Vector Sigma and the Allspark. Like, there's just do that. Just do that. That's the next big crazy thing. To go to HasLab and do something that I could see being done in retail. Like if someone came to you and said, "Hey man, like, we're gonna make our combiner Menasor the HasLab item," you know, when you could just go, "Why didn't you just put it in retail? Put the deluxes and like, there's certain things that just doesn't make sense with me. Just doesn't make sense. And that's, to me, that's what HasLab is. HasLab should be the stuff that just retail would go like, no, no, we're not doing that. We don't got the space for that. That's for HasLab. If anyone who got Unicron from HasLab, when that box showed up at your door and you barely could get it between the entrance of your door, that's HasLab. When you're seeing HasLab showing the images of Unicron in like the weight distribution centers, and it's like the box is like the size of a washing machine, that's HasLab. That's what it should be. That's HasLab. Uh, Tom Laney says, "How about a versus pack? A lot of Japanese Beast Wars versus packs would be cool." Look, we technically got a 2-pack already. What we got with Victory Saber. I mean, they could do that, but I'm telling you, there's more money, in my opinion, in selling them individually during a Beast Wars era of popularity, like a Rampage and Depth Charge, and putting it out there. And because when you do HasLab, like Unicron, when it was all said and done, if you really crunch the numbers, there was like, what, 10,000 units made, 11,000 units made. When you do a commander class, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, depending on how many cases are bought. I always do bare minimum. Let's say one case is bought at every single Walmart, every single Target, every single True. It's still like, you're still talking 20,000, minimum. But if they get a second case, then we're talking Diamond Distributing, we're talking individual comic stores, toy stores, people that bought on Amazon. You're talking 50,000 units moved easily. And that's no HasLab. HasLab, even at its most successful, was moving. I think it was the Sentinel was the most successful thing they did. And even that was still like what did they move? 35,000 units of Sentinels, and that's because people were army building Sentinels. You know, and like you don't army build Unicrons, you don't army build the Ark, you don't army build, so or any like Beast Wars characters. So the Sentinel was actually a bit of a unique scenario, if anything. People were buying multiple of those. Collector Prime with the super chat for $2 says, I want Deathsaurus for HasLab, but also Primus. Deathsaurus, again, just do it retail. I'm pretty sure, look, number one, Deathsaurus's trademark already exists for retail. I worked on a product that had the Deathsaurus trademark for retail. So it already exists. The trademark is there. They got to use it at some point. And I'm telling you, it's going to be used and it's going to be retail. I think it would be a waste to do it as Star Saber, as a HasLab item. I think it would be a waste. I really do. I could see a commander class Deathsaurus. I could see a leader class Deathsaurus if done right. And whatever, don't include his little breast masters. Make those individual releases in the core class if you need to separate the budget to make it worth it. I could see it happening. Paul M with the $5 super chat. Target has 2 shelf slots for Motor Master. Why so much space? Is he expected to be popular or just a space filler? Well, Motor Master is 2 per case. So when they crack open that case, maybe it's to, factor in stacking him up high like that, as opposed to stacking him deep. I don't know how Target's SKU shelf displays are. I only see the Walmart ones, and the Walmart ones I could read. Target ones I don't see. I'm Canadian, so I don't have Target, unfortunately. I'm Canadian. What's that? A boot. Mikey 4Barrel with the $5 super chat. Hey Proto, any yellowing breakage concerns showing up with HasLab Unicron? Not that I know of. I still and he's actually, because he's so big, he's not even in these displays. And these displays have the museum lighting, they have the UV glass here, well UV plexi, so they're protected. He's out in the open. Like here, let me just grab him for you guys. He's just chilling. You know what I mean? Ugh. This big heavy guy. And now how am I gonna put him back? God. There we go. Look what you guys made me do. But again, he's out in the open, nothing. But he's already kind of an orangey yellow guy, so what would I be looking for? Like what would be yellowing his toes? Or well, let's call it photo staining, as they call it. I don't know. I don't see anything. He looks pretty good. And I have the upgrade kit that I could have both modes on display. So I have Unicron in robot mode, and I have Unicron in planet mode, and both of them don't have any issues. Should there be issues? Should I be having sunlight in this room to test it out? I do not know. Maybe I could take one of his pieces, like one of his I don't know, like take this and put this in the sun or something. Really, stir the pot. Oh my God, my Unicron is yellowing. It's garbage. I should have got Cell instead. Start that whole war of craziness. Let me tell you guys, Cell, the third-party Unicron, was at the TFCon charity auction. Okay, so sounds like someone upgraded. Mike Rosen, my Walmart has Core Class Deluxe and Voyagers. Only has Core Class Deluxe and Voyagers. Well, again, it has to do with every single Walmart has their own individual distributor or toy manager, as we like to call them. And if they don't want to order something that's big and expensive like that, because they look at their shelving and they look at their traffic and go, ooh, if I put, every toy manager looks at everything that's being sold, and not just Transformers, just everything in general. And they're able to feel out their individual Walmart and go, ooh, this Walmart, people don't spend that much money on toys. They probably look at the high ticket items like in Barbie and everything else, or even some of the, like let's say Roblox, Hot Wheels, or, the Lego stuff that could be expensive. And they probably see that stuff doesn't move. And so they probably go, ooh, maybe I'm in an area that's kind of poor. Maybe people don't spend that much money on toys in this area. So for me to order this case that comes with 2 big expensive Transformers and put it on the shelf, only for it to get dropped or damaged or whatever, or someone try to steal it. It's not worth it for them sometimes. It's always on an individual basis. Every single Walmart is different. Every single Walmart has their own story. Every single Walmart has their own traffic. So it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. Everyone's has a different story. Like I remember even here in Montreal, we had like the good Toys R Us's, and then we had the Toys R Us's that were not so good. And one of the best Toys R Us's that we ever had back in the day, it's not that good so much anymore, but I remember back in the early 2000s, there was a Toys R Us that we would take like a 30-minute ride out of our way to get to that Toys R Us because of how good it was. Because it would always get all the good stuff. I guess the toy manager really loved, G1 reissues and late wave Armada stuff, just to give an idea of how long ago that was. But yeah, Horned Owl wants to know, Proto, have you ever had your HasLab Unicron holding his head in the Symbiote Studios Unicron head in its place? I've never done that, but that would be ridiculously huge because the Symbiote Studios Unicron head is huge, like way bigger than because I don't want to pick him up again. You know how like Unicron has his wings and stuff for HasLab? Like Symbiote Studios is even bigger than that. Like it won't even fit. The Symbiote Studios uh Unicron is massive. Massive. Like anyone who didn't pick that up, you're missing out, man. Um but I'll try. Maybe I'll try. That's going to be a tough photo. I don't think it's going to fit. I really don't think it's going to fit, but I'll try. You know what? I will try. Horned Owl, I will try, and I will put it on Instagram. I will try to remember to do that, and on Twitter. So be sure to follow those if you haven't already. Get updates on all my crazy stuff. But again, when it comes to HasLab, I just feel like you gotta do like the big crazy stuff. That's like to me, if we're given an opportunity, because it's not just even Transformers. Like, look at all the other HasLab stuff. The GI Joe one, big crazy items that when it's in a box, retail would have never touched. Same thing with the Sentinel, big crazy item that retail would never touch. The Razor Crest with Star Wars, it's stuff that they would never touch. Obviously, the Rancor didn't sell, but the Rancor, if it would have sold, it would have also been something that retail would have never done. Like retail now, they're looking at smaller boxes, got to keep everything like retail is always like, oh, we gotta fit it in a certain way so it could be shipped, and it's got to have a hanger so it could be hanged. There's all of that silliness that just Unicron would have not fit in that. But then I look at Star Saber and I go, you put him in a commander class, or even I firmly believe if you kind of don't have the bells and whistles like the stand and all those little things and the micromasters, he probably goes in a leader class box. I'm telling you, he goes in a leader class box. You put Victory Leo in the other leader class box. But I think it was just, they wanted to see if they could do Japanese stuff and see if people would pay for it instead of having to put it in retail. Maybe that's what it was. But I firmly believe they could have done it. They could have, they just didn't. They just didn't. They wanted to upsell and get direct sales. And the thing that kills me with that is we pay upfront with the Unicron. We paid upfront. Hasbro had like $4.4 million upfront from us, and then they have that money for like a year. And that it's not like they're taking that money and putting it into it to manufacture it. It's already good to go and manufactured. They're just putting that money to then put into investments and stuff like that. And they have it for a year straight before we get product. Imagine it's like a bank. It's like how you give money to a bank and they have that money for a year straight and they're able to make interest on it and make money off of our money. And then we get a little bit of that interest. They give us a little bit of that interest back as a thank you. In this case, we just get the figure, but they get to have all the interest and money that they made that we gave them a year in advance. So craziness, craziness. Mike Rosen, you could have Optimus riding your Grimlock plushie, like in the last night. Well, you also have that big. You could get the Optimus figure that came with that giant Grimlock figure. I have it up there. Like there's that huge Last Night Grimlock figure that auto transforms. I have that one, and it has that Optimus that's bull-legged that could go on the back. I could take that one and put it on the Grimlock. But no, you probably, you know what? If Symbiote Studios ever makes smaller plushes, we'll put it on the back or something. But I'm gonna do that Unicron. That one seems like a challenge. That seems like something that'd be cool because not many people have the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Unicron. Not many people have the HasLab Unicron. Let's peanut butter and jelly. Let's put it together and make a sandwich. See what happens with that. And we got half an hour left. Man, we are flying today. It is fast today. Holy moly. We have been flying. But it is ridiculously hot in Montreal today. My hair is a mess. I came out of the shower. Look at that, guys. Proto Man's got to get a haircut. Hey, look at this. The 80s are back, and it's not because of G1, because of the mullet. I've never had my hair this long. Good Lord. It's just, the big V. You're not seeing anybody on weekends. You can't go to barbers easily. It is what it is. Is my sister in the chat? Maybe she could give me a haircut. Collector Prime with the $5 super chat. All this HasLab talk. Do you think we'll get any Beast Wars Neo figures in retail? I think we'll get probably. I could see Long Rack happening. Look, we got Long Rack as a Cybertron toy. Granted he was a repaint retool of a Armada hoist, but I could see some characters. Well, yeah, it'd be cool. Think about imagine getting Razor Beast, and then we get the repaint into Randy, aka Mr. Gold Plastic Nightmare. Imagine getting Long Rack or Bump. Bump would be so cool to get a decent version of Bump, the super shell former penguin transformer. Like I have all of those dudes chilling back there. And all of those Neo guys, they need updates. They really do, because they're all shell formers. Like Big Convoy, first of all. He needs a new figure. That's the first one. Like I would love an updated Big Convoy. I understand they're doing other stuff too, but a Big Convoy would be just so cool to get. I love Beast Wars Neo. Super underrated show. No one talks about Beast Wars Neo. It's a great show, great characters, super fun. The toys are cool. I mean, they're a little kind of shell for me, but they're cool characters. Don't buy Randy. Don't buy Randy. Randy's fragile. There's a video on YouTube of Proto Man opening. I think it was called Operation GPS, opening a Randy live, and it broke. So don't buy Randy. But buy everyone else. Stampy's a great figure. The Bunny Rabbit. You could get Moon. Moon's from Beast Wars Second. But there's a lot of great figures, and I would love it if they. I love it if they just reissue them. That way, you guys could get those figures cheap. Use the reissue line to kind of put out some. Don't give people iguanas. There's like millions of iguanuses in the secondary market in the Western world. Give people Stampy. Give people the Bunny Rabbit. Put that in like classic packaging and put that out there. That'd be cool. How many people want iguanas? And how many people would have preferred like the Bunny Rabbit Stampy from Beast Wars Neo? I guarantee the numbers will say otherwise. It's people are gonna want the Bunny Rabbit because it's something that the market didn't have before. JR Mina with the question. Hey, how are you doing? JR Mina from the Philippines. What's for dinner, Proto? So I went once again to my local Asian supermarket. That's why I'm super tired and everything, because I also went and did a lot of food shopping, did some other shopping, went around. I bought a whole bunch of rolls and stuff, Japanese rolls and everything. They're like scones. Actually, they're like Vienna rolls. And with some Japanese cold cuts. And we're going to do little sandwiches and stuff like that. I also got some seaweed I want to have with it too. I'm going to have a nice little mixture of things. I've been having a craving recently for cereal. I don't know why. Been having a huge craving for cereal. I've been buying milk and just like finishing a whole 2 liter in like 2 days. So I think I'm gonna have some cereal too. I want a bowl of cereal. It's gonna be a weird late night Saturday dinner, and then I'm gonna go on the old Nintendo Switch and just chill for the rest of the evening. Play some games. Play some games. Thank you for the question, JR Mina, and the love and support, my brother. T-Formers 2002. What would a big convoy American name be? Big Prime. I mean, Big Prime. I would love it if they just kept Big Convoy. That'd be really cool. But Big Prime. I mean, if they did Lio Convoy as Lio Prime, I could just see Big Prime. Just makes sense. Um, unless they want to use like some like Mastodon kind of name. Like what was that Wreckers one there? Mastodon? What was it? They had like a weird one. One of the fossilizers, something like that. I could see that. But Big Prime. That'd be it. But I would, if it was me, I'd keep Big Convoy. Even though it'd be confusing the people because it'd be like he's called Convoy. He doesn't turn into a truck. He turns into a dinosaur. Not a dinosaur, a mastodon. You know, but whatever. Whatever. Master Dominus. There you go. I remember because it was like I remember it was a throwback to Headmasters and then Planet Dominus, which is what the Headmaster Planet Master is called in the Western version. Yeah, I remember it had some weird kind of history attached with that weird name. And then it has the colors from the Mastodon from Power Rangers. A lot of deep weird stuff going on, Hasbro. Kaz with the $2 super chat. What are the odds Japan makes a new Transformer anime soon? I wish. I wish. I'll be honest with you. Like, the old, like Dusty Rhodes always says it. You can't miss me unless I'm gone. And I remember, like, you know, we had Beast Wars and Beast Machines, Canadian created Transformer content. Then we had the era of Unicron trilogy, which I was like, oh wow, I love Japanese anime Transformers. That's great. And then by the time, like we were finishing Galaxy Force, which by the way I still loved, I love Galaxy Force, but then part of me was like, you know what, car robots, robots in disguise, Micron, Armada, Superlink, Energon, and Galaxy Force Cybertron. 4 years of anime. Part of me was going like, you know what, I love Galaxy Force, but I'd like to see American or Western made Transformer content again. And we did. And then we never went back, you know? We just had only Western content since 2006, 2007. So I'd like to have some Japanese content again. They have their own unique style and way of how they tell a story and how they do product and how they release it. And I like it. So I want to see it again. And then after 3 or 4 years of Japanese only Transformer content, then I'll get bored of that. And then we could go afterwards then back to Western created product or maybe Canadian created product. Maybe we could get some Canadian created Transformer stuff. Wake up Mainframe Entertainment and go, hey, let's do Beast Wars, the sequel, Beast Wars, the new series. I mean, I would like it. I love Japanese anime. I love Japanese product. I love the way the Japanese tell stories. I love the way the Japanese write characters. So it's very toyetic. The Japanese are more about newness and creating new ideas and new product, where the Western market is more about using the same things over and over until it doesn't sell anymore, which leads to sometimes stuff being kind of stale. So that's how I would like it. That's just me. That's just how I would see it. Any new Japanese anime except bringing back Transformers Q, actually Q Transformers, which was the Q Transformers was literally just them like we're promoting a cell phone game more than anything. The Transformers Q had no action. Yeah, well, Q Transformers was, hey, we're promoting a cell phone game, which is an homage to Waza no Convoy from the Famicom. We're selling these little figures that also turn into licensed cars, so that's kind of cute, cool. It's also Q Transformers from Chrono Q, which is what the Microman line had, which is what Bumblebee came from. There is a whole bunch of creative juices going on with Q Transformers. And then you had Transformers Go, which was happening at the same time as Transformers Prime, but it wasn't really like a full-fledged series. It was a DVD pack-in series. Like I'll stand up to show you this one. Ugh. This book here is I put together all the story pages of recent Japanese Transformer stuff. And in here you have a lot of Transformer Go that was in there, more Transformer Go. There's a lot of Transformer Go because there was a lot of story pages. with Transformer Go. Here, I'll do it like this. That way we can see what I'm doing, you know? Obviously, not all of this. This is some Saint Seiya stuff and everything, but obviously there's going to be crossover pages and everything. A lot of Transformer Go. A lot of Transformer Go. A lot. Like it just keeps going. Oh, there's even some of the wackiest Caro Scream. That's the cover of the packaging. But yeah, like Transformers Go was kind of more of a DVD pack-in kind of thing, with limited episodes. I believe there was only 6 or 7, you know, and not really written in a way that was going to be an ongoing story with character development. It was really just kind of to sell those. You could barely see the Transformer Go figures there. Barely, you could barely see them. That's all. That's all the Transformer Prime section down there. But it's kind of like a side story to Transformers Prime gimmick combiner thing. When did those come out? That was like 2015, 2014, something like that. Actually, it's 2012, I think. Oh God, it was so long ago. But yeah, like I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of good Transformers shows out there, but I'd really like to see, you know, look, I'm hoping, I really hope Earthspark is good. My biggest fear with Earthspark is if it's my fear with Earthspark more than anything is I really liked Transformers Prime. Transformers Robots in the Skies 2015 was not that great. It has its moments. It has some great designs and ideas. The Decepticons are practically the Mavericks from Mega Man X. There's all these unique designs. Strong Arm was a really cool character, but the series as a whole, I watched it, and when I finished it, I didn't want to revisit it ever again. I found it was kind of a drag. And where when I watched Cyberverse, I enjoyed Cyberverse. I could see myself going back and watching Cyberverse again. I enjoyed those characters. It was a fun story. So I'm worried that Earthspark is going to be another Robots in Disguise 2015. I really hope the kids don't take over the show. I really don't. I know people are going to, oh no, Transformers has always had humans. Yes, they have. I agree with you. But it's also kind of fishy that sometimes some of the best Transformer content also was kind of light on the humans. You know? I'm just saying, Beast Wars had at most the proto humans. You know, and when you look at animated, spoiler, sorry wasn't a human, you know? So it's like some of the best Transformer series is like we're kind of and Cyberverse, which I liked, had no humans, zero humans, no flesh creatures. So it's I don't know. It's just I hope Earthspark is good. I'm gonna try to be positive. I hope it's really good. I want it to be good. That way I'll get excited about it. It'll make me want to engage with it, buy the products, like the stories that could be told. Like you want to get an emotional connection with a Transformer line. You want to love the characters. You want to love those characters that you want to own figural representations of those products. You want to engage with those stories. If none of that is there, if it doesn't make you laugh, if it doesn't make you have an emotional response or make you cry or whatever it is that you get out of it, that kind of sucks, you know? So I kind of hope for that. I would love Michael Ku says I would love the Japanese to restart Transformers Zone. I would love that too. I would love if Zone was structured like a 32 episode anime. Like it's like, hey, this story, and then halfway Metro Titan shows up, and then that's a thing, and then oh, here comes Roadfire. He's the new member that's going to be the new combiner. Like and then you have like the 5-part ending where it's like Volinger with all his different forms. Like it was structured like a 32 episode anime. It just didn't end up becoming that. It got a manga, it got a one-shot OVA, and that was it. Tom Laney, and they wanted to turn web divers into Transformers. Yeah. Oh, dude, one day that's going to be a conversation with me and Aaron Archer on the show. Web divers was totally going to happen. Totally. I have my web divers collection is right here. I'm looking right at it. When they were developing Transformers Armada, web divers toys were on the table because they were referencing it because it almost happened. That's how far it went. And at the time, plug and play video game stuff was starting to become really popular. Like you would like find all these cheapy plug and play kind of devices, like, oh, it's SpongeBob SquarePants, but it was like a joystick and you could plug it in and play cheap games. Like, so they were literally that was gonna happen, man. That was gonna happen. The last second it didn't, but that was gonna happen. JR Mina, so Proto, when do you think Shattered Glass Hot Rod will appear? Sooner or later. I mean, that's a black repaint, that's a given. And then it's going to sell well. People are going to love it because the original Shattered Glass Hot Rod toy sold for $500 to $700 in the secondary market. Still to this day, probably one of the most expensive Shattered Glass BotCon toys. Hot Rod and Megatron. Probably those two are the most expensive, without a doubt. Easily. 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 Where are we at here? And JR says, I want me a mustache. Oh, they'll paint on a mustache for sure. It'll be in the budget. If I remember correctly, Brave series would have been the next Transformers. Well, yeah. What became Brave X Kaiser had the DNA of what was probably going to come after Operation Combination, which because you had Transformers Victory, Zone, Battlestars, Operation Combination, and then whatever the DNA was that then became Brave X Kaiser. And then of course, I mean, when you look at stuff like Brave X Kaiser, you look at stuff like Jay Decker, and then of course Gal Geiger afterwards, much later. It's totally Transformers, 100%. You're just telling a different story. Where are we at? Where are we at? Unfortunately, it kind of dwindled down with Zone. Yeah, of course. Elves Bleed 57. Hey Proto, what is the best way to sell Transformers I don't want? Example, I bought Battle Across Time 2-pack for Grimlock, and I don't want Mirage. Number one, I heavily suggest always try to sell something that minimizes your costs. So what I would suggest first is try to sell on message boards. Try to sell on message boards, specifically with something like TFW or otherwise, before you go to Facebook. And I'll tell you why. Because when you sell on Facebook, you open yourself up publicly to people, and it makes it much more difficult to sell, because I've seen a lot of times people try to sell stuff and then right away people are commenting, you can get it cheaper here. Oh, that's not a good price. And yeah, sometimes they're right. I agree with them. Sometimes there's a guy that's scalping and people are chewing him up. But you don't really suffer from that when you sell on a message board. People don't really spend all their time criticizing. There's rules for that. So it's better to sell on a message board also because while eBay is a better platform because there's millions of people on eBay, eBay has their fees. You're gonna lose money. God forbid you undercharge on the shipping. You're 100%. You're gonna, if you lose money on the shipping, and then they take fees, including the fees from the shipping. So start with the message boards. Failing that, then go to Facebook, and then afterwards, eBay is the last resort. Obviously, if you have an ability to sell at a convention, that's always the best too. I don't sell Transformers unless it's at the parts parties. Easiest way for me. I know everyone at that show is a Transformer fan. Do good. Do very good. Ronnie Diaz with the super chat. Hey, yo, what's good, people? I am painting panels tonight. Proto, do you customize figures? I've only customized probably 2 figures in my life. Um, you probably don't count repro labels, do you? Because I've used upgrade sheets on some characters, and I don't really count those as customizing. The only time I've ever customized a figure, I painted one figure with some black paint decos and stuff like that. I forget which one it was. And then my other one, which is right here, the only thing I've ever customized, it's Dusty, was the very first double I ever got of a Transformer toy was back in the day during Beast Wars, 1996-97 era. I got Cyber Shark, and then I got a second Cyber Shark. So because that second Cyber Shark was gotten at a garage sale, and it was missing some pieces, I customized it into a Optimus Prime Cyber Shark. and I keep it near my desk still to this day as a reminder of the only thing I ever customized, where I just took a G1 Prime head and put it on there. It was a broken G1 Prime toy because those were a dime a dozen back then. And yeah, I still keep them back there. I keep them behind my computer. He gets super dusty as a result. The only thing I've ever customized. I've I've been gifted customized stuff. Ultra Primal, Transformers, Cheetah Miss. I've gotten customized stuff from people as gifts. I know I'm forgetting somebody. I apologize. Who else sent me customized stuff? People have sent me customized gifts all the time of like, cool Transformer stuff. Oh, Mikey and Louie, but that it's more 3D printing. Is that count? Does that count? I guess. I don't really count that as customizing. 3D printing is kind of manufacturing, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to say. But, you know, I'm not like I do model kits. I paint those. I customize those. Not really Transformers. I don't know why. Maybe because I do like Gundam model kits and stuff. That's why I don't do customizing Transformers. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a whole bunch of model kits of like the Flame Toy stuff to then maybe go crazy with that. Ronnie Diaz, Studio Series Thrust, Studio Series Ironhide, Grapple, Earthrise. I don't know what he's saying. Maybe he's selling something. Joseph Ritter with the $5 super chat. Since Cosmos is impossible to get, will they make a repaint in future waves? Thanks, Bearded Proto. Yeah, I know I have to shave today. I'm gonna shave when I shower tomorrow. I have to do it so bad. This is when Proto is running late on time. When he hasn't had a haircut, he hasn't been shaving. What are you doing? You used to be so beautiful. You used to get all the ladies. And now look at you, losing your hair, growing your face. Anyways. Future waves, 100%. Hasbro knows that like there's so much potential there. You could do the Pathfinder repaint, the GoBot. You could do Scrounge, which that's a trademark they have. They could repaint them yellow and do Scrounge. You could just paint them in a different shade of green and then release Cosmos all over again with more show accurate colors or a more show accurate deco on the chest. And then all the scalping is going to be for naught. And I'm telling you, it's going to happen. So all you people that are worried about Cosmos, just relax. Don't fall for the scalping. Don't worry about it. The opportunity will create itself. We have such a good relationship with Hasbro now. They're listening. They're listening. If the opportunity creates itself and they have enough lead time to print out and reissue another product, they will put it out if they feel there's money to be made there. And with something like Cosmos, I think there's money to be made there. I think that's money to be made there. Ronnie Davis, thanks, Proto Cool. Thank you. Okay. Elsbleed 57, thank you for all you do for the Transformer community. You know what? My goal in the Transformer community is educating people on things that no one talks about that are very important, not just to the Transformer hobby, but for the hobby as a whole. Financial is very important to our lives. No one ever wants to talk about money, but money is very important. People are so quick. Oh, like let's talk about how much they hate this Transformer toy, hate that Transformer toy. Why don't we talk about money? Why don't we talk about not going broke and not having to like freak out and have to sell half of our collection because we got into a car accident? I see these stories all the time, all the time. If people are smart with their money, they wouldn't be in these kind of jams. This collection was built while working at Burger King. I wasn't making good, and this was like Burger King $7 an hour Burger King. Like, but I was smart with my money. And so I want to teach that being smart with your money, being smart in your hobby, not like, oh my God, this figure is going to be rare. I'm going to go on eBay and pay 4 times the value. No. Slow down, Kemosabe. There's going to be opportunities. Look, we're going to be getting Ramjet reissued soon. Anyone that went and spent stupid money on the Amazon exclusive is going to, they're going to try to convince themselves otherwise, but it's about educating. Look, I taught you guys about trademarks. I taught you guys about molds. I taught you guys about lead times. I taught you guys about, expiration dates, trademarks, how that leads to predicting product. Like, I taught you guys, like, the Legendary 7 was taught, to me from Hasbro licensing But I taught you guys about Legendary 7 and how that factors into licensing, like bringing all those things to the fandom so that they know what's going on and understanding how the sausage is made so that they could either enjoy that sausage more, giggity, or just making sense of what's going on, with the hobby. Too many times I see news get revealed and then right away people just go to a bad place. They just get angry. This is stupid. Screw this. I'm quitting the hobby, blah, blah, blah. And they never understand. They never try to understand what's going on. How come was Cosmos one per case? Screw that. Hasbro sucks, blah, 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 blah. Well, how about the fact that he's the only guy in that assortment that is a partial retool that literally had to like half of the Origins Bumblebee toy had to be completely retooled in order to make that happen, while on most of the rest of the Velocitron collection is either just a brand new head sculpt or just a straight up repaint completely. You know? So he had to be the one that had all the budget. And then as a result, he had to be all the budget. Guess what? Who's the other one per case? A guy who's a straight up repaint in Clampdown, who's going to, sacrifice getting any kind of retool or repaint. So he's going to be the one per case. There's a science behind it. And if you just understand it, and then the anger of, oh, well, if I don't get it now, I'm never going to be able to get it. Hey, that guy on eBay is asking $80. I'm going to pay him. Stop. Breathe. Relax. It's just robots that turn into thingamajigs. The opportunity will present itself. And those scalpers, they're going to get antsy if they can't move it. Their girlfriend is going to yell at them if they're sitting on tons of product and it's taking space in the living room. I know, guys, that stuff happens. Trust me. Where we at? Thanks again, Proto. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Great as always from Tom Laney. Thank you, Tom. Ronnie Diaz, by the way, you were right about Studio Series Ironhide. I almost bought it on eBay for $180, but now I will get it on Amazon. I'm not talking out of my balls. You know what I mean? I know, like this is everything I say is based on experience in the past. That's all it is. It's happened before. It's gonna happen again. It's just how it is. We learn from the past, and when you've been in this hobby since right there, 86 movie. That's where I start. That's where my journey begins. And then we go forever. That's where I start. I was there and I've been rocking since then, and all the other toy lines that I, jam with and everything. Everything else, like all the other stuff. If you could only see the craziness of this collection. If you only knew. you know? Where we at? Horned Owl just bought a house and got to create my own Transformers display shelving from scratch. Pretty excited. Watch my segment on that. About, I think it's called Transformers and Displaying, or Transformer Display, or Transformer Shelving. Just type it in the search engine, type Transformer Slag Podcast Display or Shelving. I did a whole segment talking about that, how I did mine, how you could do yours. Custom displays are slightly expensive, but they're actually cheaper in the long run than buying DTOF cabinets or buying I look, no offense to you if you don't have the budget, but I hate a bookshelf and Transformers on it. It's going to get dust, and then all those Transformers are going to get dust. And when you have thousands of Transformers, you are not dusting thousands of Transformers. It's nice to have a nice, have one of these nice glass cases, have a dehumidifier in the room that's sucking up any dust that's coming from your computer, or if you have pets, there's tricks to it. If you have any questions about that, just send it to me. I'll gladly respond, or watch the segment. The segment says everything. Congratulations, Horned Owl, on the house. But from Mike Rosen. Again, getting a house isn't easy. Michael Koo says, talking. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. YouTube just tanked this video. Nah, YouTube's not going to tank it. YouTube's not going to tank. You know what's funny? YouTube's going to tank it if I say controversial other things. Anyone, here we go. Kaz with the super chat. Anyone watch Machine Robo Revenge of Chrono? I love Machine Robo Revenge of Chrono. Machine Robo is a passion. I literally, back in 2010, 12 years ago, I did a panel at TFCon explaining why, if GoBots was Machine Robo Revenge of Kronos, GoBots would have won the war of the toys in the toy aisle against Transformers. It was just of course, a hypothetical. And I showed people scenes and, comparing stuff and product. And I brought Vi Kung Fu, the original toy, on display. I actually had a Ken Ryu, the original, for sale at TFCon. Tony bought it from me. I think he paid $15. I should have asked more. $15 for Ken Ryu, the original 1986 Machine Robo toy. I should have asked more. Oh well. You live, you learn. I had so many of them throughout the years, getting them in the secondary market. But yeah, Machine Robo was awesome. GoBot stuff. How could you not? How could you not? How could you not? Michael Koo, I personally think we were spoiled with Japanese animation during the 80s and 90s. Yes, we were. Yes, we were. I think cell animation is an art that is slowly disappearing completely. And if it wasn't for Japan, everything, like, think about every kid show today. Kid shows today, if they're made in the West, they come in two flavors: low budget CG or super low budget 2D animation. That's like, the Cal Art style or whatever it's called. And it's like Japan is the ones that are holding it down for us. Like, Japan is all that's doing the 2D animation any good. So, like, thank God for Japan with anime, because, man, I think we'd be in a really funky world in terms of cartoons and everything today if it wasn't for Japan. Like, they were so influential, you have no idea. And they're the best, man. They are. I still, to this day, I love anime, and I love it. I still watch. My favorite streaming service, okay? I don't like Netflix. I don't like Disney Plus. Disney Plus could go screw itself. I like Asian Crush and Paramount Plus. And Asian Crush is free. Yeah, there's commercials, but it's free, and there is so much good content of it. And Asian Crush has a channel built in where they play random anime that isn't part of their streaming service. So, like, one day you'll tune in and, oh, they're playing 3 episodes of Metabots. And then you'll tune in and it's 3 episodes of Ronin Warriors. And then you'll tune in and it's 3 episodes of Saint Seiya, or the Saint Seiya movies. Or, like, I love Asian Crush. Go get it on your smart device. It is without a doubt the best streaming service if you love Japanese anime. And if you like, Korean dramas or Japanese dramas or live action dramas, they have that too, you know? Let's see. Personally, I think we are supposed to. So Michael already said that. Andy Davis said another fantastic stream. Kaz says a lot of Machine Robo animators worked on Transformers too. Oh yeah, of course, totally. That's Toei crossover. We're done. We're past 2 hours. Woo! We flew today. We topped out at like 157 people or something. Yeah, good stuff. So again, thank you everyone who came by for the stream. Thank you everyone who supports the podcast, who does the super chats. Super chats go a long way to help the podcast. Thanks everyone who is a Patreon. Patreon people also help the podcast in a lot of ways. Again, it gives you access to stuff if you join the Patreon. Also, YouTube membership. All those green names, those fabulous green names, with most of them that have Rodimus next to them, although you could choose who you want to have next to you after a certain amount of time. All those green names and those icons and everything, those guys too help keep it down for us. Thanks to everyone who supports the podcast. Thanks for everyone who came by just to hang out and talk and enjoy Transformers. It's amazing that we're able to do this 2 hours every week and just yabber and just talk. Thanks for all the love and support. Just want to always close out by saying, take care of yourselves, be good to each other. It's a crazy world out there. There's a lot of negativity, there's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of stupid stuff on social media. Ignore that stuff, take a deep breath, go for a walk, and enjoy your life. Because life is amazing. Life is awesome. Is life awesome? It's amazing. It's amazing. Love it. Video games, Transformers, good food. What more do you need? You don't need anything else in life. Take care of yourselves. God bless all you guys. You're all amazing. I'm out of here. I'm going to go eat and then just relax for the rest of the evening. that Nintendo Switch is calling me. What's that? What's that? Let's play some Switch Online, maybe some Earthbound, Chrono Trigger. I don't know. We'll see. Take care and roll out.